So now we have to study the next topic, which is called staffing and personal planning. Actually, personal planning it deals with staffing. That is, in the case of personal planning, what we are doing is we are doing the staffing, and in staffing, we what we are doing in staffing means we are appointing personnel for each position identified by the organizational structure. That means every organization will have an organizational structure, and based on the structure each person will be appointed to the corresponding position, and that is the work which we have to do in staffing. And staffing also deals with the following points or following tasks we have to do in staffing. That first one, defining the requirement for personnel. That is, which all persons, which all positions need to be filled. Next, we have to recruit the corresponding staff for the corresponding position. For that, we have to do identify the corresponding personnel. We have to do interviewing, then the selection of the candidates. So, etc. are included in recruiting. And after recruiting, we have to do compensating, and then compensating we have to develop and promote the agent. That means some of the promotions are maybe given, so we have to make a free position, and to that free position new persons must be that position must be compensated. That is, through that position we have to recruit new or existing persons. That is, promotion need to give, or we have to make developing means whenever a new person is recruited for a particular position, suppose he is a new one, there may be a training may be needed for the first few months or few days, so that he has to make for he has to we have to make him for fitting that particular position. So it is done in the staffing. So these are the major tasks which are involved in staffing. So they are defining the requirement for personnel, recruiting, which include identifying, interviewing and selecting candidates, then compensating and developing and promoting the agents. And what is the main aim of this personnel planning? That is next topic we have to study. We know that whenever we are doing any work, first task we have to do is called planning, and according to planning we can perform the schedules. So in the case of personal planning also, if we are performing the planning of personnel in advance, we can make the scheduling, and which is helpful to have effort, and we can schedule the size of the subsystem, and if necessary the component in the subsystem. That means if you're doing the planning and scheduling in advance, that will help in order to make proper arrangement in staffing. And once the project plan is estimated, that is, during the first phase we will perform all the estimations. And during the estimation we will calculate the effort, we will calculate the time, the number of persons needed, etc. So once the estimations are over, we will get an idea about how many staffs are required for the particular project. So we can calculate the average staff size based on the following equation. That is, we need to compute, we already computed that. If you know the effort, if you know the time, that is the project duration, by dividing the effort by the project duration, we will get the average staff which are needed for the project. Okay, so the total number of staff, that is the average how many amount of staff are needed for the project, can be calculated by using the equation. The total effort, normally the effort will be calculated person in months, okay, divided by the time duration or the project duration, that is the time, that will be in months. So dividing the total effort divided by the project duration, we will get the average staff. And whenever we are performing, we are starting a project at the time of at the starting stage of the project, requirement analysis and design, the need of the staff is very less. The project staffs are the need of the staff will be maximum during the middle stage, that is implementation and testing stage. The staff requirement will be high, and again it will drop whenever the integration, when we reach at the last end of the project, that is when we perform the integration and testing, the need of the staff may be very less. In the case of COCOMO model, we already said we will do the project estimation, and in detailed COCOMO, we are actually performing the estimation for each and every phases. So it is also very helpful because we will get the idea of how many staff members are needed for each and every phases, and according to that we can make the we can calculate the effort, and we can make the arrangements. Then the next topic we have to study is about the team structure. We know that if you are doing a project will have a team, and there are different structures are there in which we can arrange the team. So the arrangement of the individual project teams is called the team structure. There are different methods are there using which we can do this type of we can structure the organization, or we can structure the team for a project. Mainly there are three types of format are there. Team structures are there. The first one is called the chief programmer. The second one is called the egoless or democratic structure. The third one is the mixed team organization. Okay, these are the three formal team structures. Okay, what are they? These are the three formal team structures. First one, chief programmer, that is one structure. Egoless or democratic structure, and mixed team organization. There are several other variations are also there. The other structures are there, but these are the most popular one. So the first one we are going to study is called the egoless or democratic teams. In this team structure, as the name says, it is called egoless. Egoless means normally this type of structures are used if the team consists of fewer people, that is, less number of programmers are there. In that case, the egoless structure can be used. And what is the main objective of this structure? The main objective is that here actually the entire team is considered as a group, and each person has given an importance. That is, the input from each members will be taken for making significant decision. It does not depend on a particular person. All the members in the team will have an equal responsibility, and equal importance will be given. Okay, and there will be a group leadership. Here it is not an individual leadership. Here a group, this group, the leadership revolves among the group of members. That is, one person will be there as a group leader, then it will be changed to next one after some time, or after some days it will be, so this will revolve among the group members. And since because of the nature, that is, we are giving importance to each and every member of this team, we are giving importance to each and every member, and because of that nature, this egoless team is also called democratic team. And we can, if you want to represent the structure of an egoless team, normally all the representatives, as I said, importance is given to each and every person inside in the team, and their their involvement, that their complete involvement will lead to make a better decision in various problems. Okay, so that is the main advantage of this egoless democratic team. And this type of method, in which when we will use this method, and for which organization, or for which purpose this method will be useful. This is mainly used for long-term research type project, which does not contain any time constraint. That is, if we do not have any time constraint, like we have to complete within this month, or we have to complete within 1 year, like that. If there is no such time constraints are there, and if the project is a research type of project, then this method will be useful, because here the involvement of all the team members will be there, and each of the person will get have equal responsibility and equal importance. And this is the structure of an egoless programming team structure. Suppose we have a team consist of 5 members are there. And this is the structure. All the 5 persons will have equal responsibility. And if you are taking the communication path, all the persons will communicate with each other. Okay, that is in the form of a complete graph. So the next type of structure is called a chief programmer team. In the case of chief programmer team, which is a contrast to the egoless team, because in the case of egoless team there is no hierarchy, it's a peer-to-peer, everyone has equal importance. But in the case of chief programmer team, in this structure there is a hierarchy. So here that a team consists of there will be a chief programmer. That is, if you are considering a team, there will be a chief programmer. Then in order to a set of backup programmers will be there, and one or more program librarian will be there, and some programmers will be there. So this is the members in a team. So if you are considering a team of chief programmer, that is, if you are considering a chief programmer team, this much of persons will be there. That is a chief programmer, a backup programmer who will assist the chief programmer, then a program librarian is there, and some programmers will be there. And what is the meaning of a chief programmer? A chief programmer will be the main one who will make different technical decisions. Major technical decisions will be done regarding the project. Okay, crucial decisions and every technical decisions will be done by the chief programmer. And most of the designs will be done under the guidance of this chief programmer, and he will assign the coding to each and every programmers. That is the designing, the work division, and the coding which should be allotted to different programmers. It is done by the chief programmer. And the main aim of this backup programmer is that backup programmer will take over the charge of the chief programmer. Suppose if the chief programmer is sick or he is on leave, the work is transferred, the work is given to the backup programmer. Okay, so the main one is the there is a chief programmer is there. Under the chief programmer there is a backup programmer is there. Then there will be librarian will be there. Then there will be different programmers will be there. So this one is the main person. Okay, chief programmer is the main person. And what are the tasks of the chief programmer? He will all the major decisions or technical decisions are done by the chief programmer regarding the project. He will make most of the decision. He will assign the coding to different parts or different part of the design to the programmer, like that. The task of the backup programmer is he will take over the charge of the chief programmer. Suppose he is on leave or he is sick. Then what is the use of what is the function of a librarian? A program librarian is mainly used for maintaining the documentation. That is, within the team there will be different communication will be there. So all the communication related work will be done by the programmer librarian. Then there will be this is the overall structure of a programmer chief programming team structure and the communication part. So this is the chief programmer, this will be the backup programmer. Okay, then they will be interchanged based on the, suppose if the chief programmer is not available or he has any problem, then he will take the charge. Then there will be librarian programmers will be there who will make the documentation. Then a set of other programmers will be there, and the communication will be like this. That is all. Every communication is not, there is no peer-to-peer communication. All of the persons has to communicate with the top level, that is a chief programmer, and he can also communicate with each and every person. So that is what he has said. It reduces the interpersonal communication. The communication between the persons will be less here. And this is the third one, that is controlled decentralized team. Actually here we are combining the positives or the strength of both the democratic structure and the chief programmer teams. And here, if you're considering a team, the team will have a project leader will be there, which consists of a class of senior programmers. Uh, okay, project leader. uh, Under project leader there will be a set of senior programmers will be there. Under every senior programmer there will be a set of junior programmers will be there. So this is a structure of a team. So a project leader, under the project leader set of senior programmers will be there. Under each senior programmer a set of junior programmers will be there. Then the senior programmer will communicate with the project leader. So there will be a hierarchy like this. This is the project leader. These are the senior programmers. Under each senior programmers there will be junior programmers. So here the senior programmers will communicate with the project leader. Okay, the senior programmer and the junior programmers will act as a that is behave like a egoless team. But the communication between different groups are done by the senior programmer of the team. That means that if you are taking this one, suppose this is a combination of a senior programmer and a set of junior programmer. So there will be peer-to-peer communication. That is, this is democratic or egoless communication. All of them will communicate between each other. This person, and like that everyone will communicate with each other. This is another team which consists of a senior programmer and a lot of junior programmers. They are also the structure is also democratic structure, egoless structure. But if two teams need to communicate, it will be only through the through the senior programmer. That is what described here. So the senior programmer and junior programmer will behave like egoless team. They will communicate between each other like an egoless team, but between different groups the senior programmers has to communicate. And in the same manner the senior programmer has to communicate with the project leader also. Okay, the communication here the junior programmer cannot communicate directly with the project leader. He has to communicate with the senior, and the senior will communicate with the project leader. So that's the style of here we are using a combination of egoless and this chief programmer team. So that is the meaning of staffing, the different structures, team structure, different types of team structure.